you check the children. Show a little massive.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil, Laird.
Robert Wolfman.
I mean, Fuego here.
And we are here to review the brand new remake of a Trauma Legacy project, apparently. We are here to talk about the 2025 Toxic Avenger, starring Dinkles, but more appropriately, Luisa Guerrero, because she did most of the work in this film. Let's be honest, but yeah, we'll get into all of that, and I'm gonna go ahead and jump off saying that I've never seen a trauma film before this. This was my first one, and while clearly the production value is higher on this than what I have seen in clips of past trauma movies, unfortunately, clearly the shortcomings of a trauma film don't begin and end with production value. Because scripting and acting were major hurdles for this film for me. Much more so than the production value. Like, the production value was actually probably like, 6, 7 out of 10. But, yeah, the acting and more specifically, the script I'd give like a 4, 3, 4, 2. Acting maybe 5-ish. So, yeah, I wasn't overly enthusiastic about this. Like, I like the schlockness of it. And, like, I get that it's, essentially low-budget grindhouse sort of stuff, but, yeah, it just wasn't, apparently Trauma's just not really for me. So that was my overall thoughts. Robert?
Well, and that's the thing, it's like, so with the trauma movies, like, they are known for that over-the-top, goofy, dumb acting, and the ridiculous gore that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, yeah. So it's like, they did it, like, I saw where they were trying to recreate that essence with this movie. It felt a little too forced, more often than not. And that's kind of where I was at. Like, and so, like, overall thoughts is, like, for the most part, I did enjoy it, especially for getting that Legacy remake, because Toxic Avenger is the main thing that Trauma is known for. And then some, like, there are other ones, like Surf Nazis and shit like that, and
Sergeant Kabuki, man.
Yeah. But yeah, like this. So like this one, it was a worthy enough remake, and it deserved at least the budget. But I do definitely will echo the sentiment on the script and the story was just a little too nothing burger, and it was just too simple, and like I don't know. Like, I had fun with some of the stuff, but there was others where I'm just like, it just didn't really do it for me. I didn't find myself really laughing. There was more a couple chuckles, but there was one particular point where I just lost my shit.
Yeah, one joke in the whole movie made me laugh.
Literally one joke in the whole movie.
He did lose his shit.
Oh my god, it was just so fucking unexpected, left field with a fucking bowling ball. But yeah, it was so, like, overall, like, it was a worthy enough remake, and I see why people are really enjoying it, because it had its merits. The makeup and stuff, I mean, obviously we'll get into that, but like like Cecil said, the actual actress of Toxie really deserves more of the praise than Dinklage. Like, for what people are like, what I've been kind of seeing people give, it's like, Dinklage, yeah, he's fine with the voice, but really, like, Luis Guerrera, what was her name?
Guerrero.
Luisa Guerrera, yeah. She deserves more of the credit than anything, all the credit. Like, her acting, especially within the makeup and the eyes, like, she did a fucking fantastic job. So yeah, overall, it was good-ish. I think I'm more on a one-time watch for this. What about you, Fuego?
Yeah, I went in with very low expectations because this premiered 2 years ago and then couldn't find distribution, and then lo and behold, Bloody Disgusting and their Cineverse imprint, swoops into the rescue and finally gets this in theaters and everything. So I didn't expect much, and I actually have quite the affinity for the original. I mean, if you get the kid and the bike, it's 50 points, just the sheer stupidity of that low-budget first film. And I actually had a lot of fun with this. I laughed way more than I was anticipating. Yeah, it's schlocky and over the top, and it feels like it speed runs through a lot of stuff, like you see it in the trailer, the robbery at the hamburger shop and whatever. So it does recreate a few things. When it tried to be a little more sentimental in this one, that's where I thought that it kind of lost its footing. The whole stepson angle and all of that. I mean, I want Toxic Avenger to be silly, stupid, gross, grotesque, over the top, and I don't know. For me, it actually hit those notes relatively well, and the silly band that he's going after. Like it felt like it was really recreating that trauma vibe of just like sleaze relatively well for the most part. I mean, it's not perfect. I don't know if I would necessarily revisit it a number of times or anything, but I was much more entertained than I was expecting.
All right, well, yeah, I mean, just getting into the story real quick, it's about a guy named Winston who is a widowed stepfather who is trying to watch over his I can't call her his ex-wife. I mean, that's not the right way to put it, but his
deceased wife.
Deceased wife. Thank you.
You never even got married.
Deceased fiance, we should say, actually.
Yeah. But so he's trying to do the dad thing, and he needs money, and so he decides to try and rob the company he works at, which is this big toxic company.
Well, there was a reason behind that.
Well, yeah, he's diagnosed with something that necessitates money. And I mean, I'm not really worried about spoiling.
It's in some of the promotional campaign too, the whole medical angle. They're even creating, like, they're matching proceeds from the film with a couple different organizations, so they're getting all sweet.
I did see that, and honestly, I thought that was really cool of them.
Yeah,
I did too.
Definitely, it's cool. So yeah, he and when he tries to rob the company, basically he runs afoul of some dudes that decide to toss him in the toxic sludge and transforming him into the Toxic Avenger with a stiff toxic mop. And then, he God, I guess he's going up against a rival fucking corporate guy or something like that for a tiny bit of the movie.
Yeah, played by Kevin Bacon.
Oh, right. Well, I was thinking about the smaller guy
that's
first, yeah. And then, Kevin Bacon's the big bad, though. You're right.
Yeah.
That's... and then he's trying to make sure that he doesn't lose his stepson, even though, he is no longer anywhere near what he used to be. So that's the long and short of the story. I didn't buy into it. I didn't really like the stuff that I actually was most interested in was Dinklage's portrayal of the stepfather. I actually thought that was really good. But everything else around it was just not. So that's as much as I could latch onto in the story. So yeah, story wise, not for me.
Yeah, no, that dramatic point and everything, at least with like the diagnosis and everything, them being the worried about the kid, like that was a really good angle. And again, Peter Dinklage is a fucking really good actor. So he's one of the world's best eyebrow actors. Oh yeah,
dude, those bushes above his eyes, man, Jesus Christ.
But he uses them and shit. He's like Jim Carrey and shit.
Yeah, they're like The Rock,
they're his antennae.
Yeah, but no, like the story was it was a basic story. It was a father-son protection, kind of thing in a shitty, corrupt town, run by criminals, and then you have your unsuspecting hero that rises up against evil. That's basically your story in this, which was pretty much the original Toxic Avenger. But obviously the circumstances of the transformation are completely different. They did a whole complete rehaul on the story, which I appreciate. Like, when you're gonna do a remake and everything like that, or a reboot, however you want to call it, it's, especially with these type of properties, it's easier to just completely redo a whole brand new story. That part I felt worked a little bit easier, but again, it felt too almost like I don't know. It just didn't really do it for me, and there were some moments in the movie that were very cringe, and I wasn't especially during a concert segment, and then Motorhead starts playing.
Yeah, and he goes on and he's singing over.
It was so bad. Like, and again, I think it's also too. It's like I found myself able to enjoy the performances a little bit better with not directly looking at Toxie, because there was a lot more times than not where the voice and lip syncs were not there.
Yeah,
and it was kind of rough. So if I kind of like looked off to the side and appreciated some other stuff, it was easier to absorb and actually believe his performance through her, and vice versa. But yeah, so overall story, it was good enough. It was basic. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, they hit all of the main beats. I mean, the transformation, and just like aggravation with said corporate former employer and everything like that. I mean, for me, when it tried to go into more social commentary about the haves and have-nots with like, I don't know, American healthcare and things of that nature, and also like addiction to certain drugs, like that are gonna fix our health, whether it's weight or like the whatever sort of other affliction. I mean, that was where I felt like the film was almost trying to be a little too overly ambitious with throwing all of these new little subplots and subtext in there. And it was a bit heavy-handed, and at times I was most amused when it was just reinventing the whole trauma selling. It's like I was amused by the bit on stage, and even just some of the banter amongst the townspeople, when they're like, we're going to have a mob, and they're, chasing them out into the woods. I mean, when it was just going as absolutely silly as possible, that's when, I don't know, it was kind of recreating the trauma spirit a little bit better for me. It was when it tried to veer into that more serious territory that I was a little less into it. And I guess that's where they were trying to give it a distinctive imprint compared to that first one. There's so much politically incorrect shit in that first movie, man. I mean, and to that degree, they kind of softened this a little bit too. So yeah, that was, not as much in the trauma spirit when they went in that direction.
Do you want to transition into the acting?
Yeah, totally. So when we get Dinklage early on, I felt like he was decent. Now, Tremblay, on the other hand, I thought he was pretty stiff and didn't really seem as comfortable in the role as the stepson.
What's he been in before? Because I always hear his name like I'm supposed to know it.
He goes way back to Room with Brie Larson, that she won the Oscar for. So he was the kid with her, and then he was also he was the slightly older version of young Chuck in Life of Chuck just recently this past year. So he was a child star that is trying to transition into, I guess, young adult acting, and I'm
trying to Elijah Wood it.
Yeah. Which and dude, I wasn't sure how into Elijah Wood I was going to be early on. Okay, I guess I'm not going to spoil that. There's kind of a turn that I don't know if it was super earned in this movie.
Can I be honest about that specifically, just to your point? For as weird as they made him look, his character wasn't nearly weird enough.
No, not at all.
Like he was just a normal dude that just looked really weird.
Yeah.
That was an odd thing for me.
From how they portrayed him in the trailers, I thought he was gonna be some like fucking bomb throwing crazy fucking kid car running over or something. Like they tamed the shit out of his character. I feel, from how they portrayed him in the.
I got the kind of Jafar vibes from him, and he was not that at all. Like where he's like the manipulative kind of weird,
the sadistic
sorcerer.
kind of crazy,
right, like the mad scientist kind of vibe. But
nope. he was just the sad little beaten down weird kid.
Yeah,
balding.
Yeah, because Bacon's giving him shit throughout that whole movie, man.
Bacon, who's, by the way, there's makeup involved with Bacon at one point, and I fucking hated it. I thought it looked so dumb.
It reminded me of a certain Christmas-related character.
Yeah.
Honestly, the transformation, like, it started off like completely different, like in one way, and then they just veered. I'm like, oh, that's not exactly at all what I thought you were gonna be.
No. But yeah, sorry, Fuego. Continue with the acting, if you.
Yeah. I mean, the last thing I just wanted to mention was that, like, in the true spirit of trauma, and I know Robert's seen a few trauma films. Like, the band were the most trauma thing in this movie.
Uh-huh.
As ridiculous as they were, the type of music they were playing, their attire, like their attitude, everything about, even the guy like jumping around. Like,
oh my god, parkour! Just fucking, just
that
every
was
time he
the
flips,
spirit
I
of
did
trauma,
it.
like 100%.
That was one of the tiny chuckle moments. Was when he over attacked and just exploded.
Oh yeah,
That was like, because he just couldn't stop jumping and landing,
Yeah.
and he just at the end of the stage just blew up. That was like, all right, that was funny.
yeah.
But
then
otherwise,
even when the
yeah.
crowd is like, "Why did you kill all of them?" Tots?"
Yeah.
He's
They
like,
made me laugh.
yeah, but then he's just like, trust me, they were bad, and like everyone immediately like is just on board. I'm like, ah,
Yeah,
it
but
could
when
have
the
been so
band,
much more
like,
interesting.
But he
yeah.
saved all the people at the diner.
yeah, and the band cussing on stage, and the mom is like trying to earmuff her little
Oh,
daughter,
I know.
like saying, you know, motherfuckers and all this, and just
Do you not realize what town you live in, woman?
yeah.
Also, the actress that was like the not spy, but what would you call her? The saboteur kind of thing.
Yeah, basically. Well, she was
Like she felt like she was in a completely different movie.
Yeah.
So much so
Yeah.
that I feel like they just pulled her parts out of this movie at some point. Because like
There-
she's
there
in
was-
it heavily for like 10 minutes, and then like she's just kind of a side character,
Uh-huh.
barely like important.
yeah.
She did deliver a pretty funny joke about his Zamboni though, that I gotta say made me laugh.
That part gave me a good stern chuckle.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but yeah, no, it was during at one near the end of the diner sequence where I just lost my shit because it was just so out of part. I just was not expecting it.
We can say the line without ruining it, but the "Show me your hands" was the thing. That
Oh
got
yeah,
us.
yeah.
That shit was
dude.
the funniest fucking thing.
That
That was so good.
I was
the timing of it was perfect.
like it was just,
So like he did. I've never seen him laugh at anything as hard as he laughed at that. And for as long as I've known him, that is the hardest I've seen him laugh.
I laughed pretty hard and I gotta pee on my neck real quick.
dude,
that's-
I just
I don't-
didn't do it for
that
me.
doesn't do. Yeah, I don't. That's so.
It was just it was just not. It was just like, oh, okay, because it was just like a.
Not even. He didn't say on my neck. He said I got to pee on my
Yeah, I
face.
gotta-
Yeah,
Yeah. Like-
yeah. I'm just like,
But yeah, all right. So I'll jump in with the acting again. I like
Yeah,
Dinkles. I feel like he was acting for a different movie. You know what I mean? But you know, it is what it is. It's nice that he can bring that level of gravitas even to a trauma film, but it's there's only so much. There's only so much globe his little atlas can shoulder. You know what I mean? So yeah. Outside of that, I don't think really anyone. I think Lloyd Kaufman might have been the most believable person in the whole movie.
that one little
Yeah,
his
like,
cameo.
cameo.
Yeah. I just didn't. I didn't vibe with anyone else. Like I feel like the bandmates like just remind me of the Jimmy Savilles at the end of 28 Years Later. Like those. Yeah. That's
no,
the
but
vibe.
that's the funny thing though is like if you've seen like any of the trauma movies and whatnot, it's like you'd almost be like, oh, well, those are like characters from the trauma movies,
Right. Yeah. Well, that's
Like,
uh-huh.
But then like even what like Fuego was saying.
But
is,
the reason I'm making that comparison is everyone hated that in 28
no, I
Years
know,
Later.
I know. But even like, going like back to what Fuego was saying is the band was the most like trauma over the act kind of aspect of it, and as dumb and goofy as they were, they kind of worked.
Yeah.
They kind of worked.
Yeah, they had like a Nuke 'em High kind of vibe to me, just their attitude about it.
Yeah. Fucking. There was one scene though after a chase with the chicken head that I was just like, what? Like there was a reveal with the chicken head. I'm just like, I don't know. That was a little not. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. But other than that, like the overall acting and whatnot, they were decent. But again, the actress for Toxie, again, she deserves so much more praise on this performance than what Dinklage should.
Yeah. because I think there's a lot of people who are under the impression, he did like a Demi Moore or like I mean, I'm pretty sure it was even Bacon under those prosthetics at that
Oh yeah.
point. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, because he
But-
yeah. Well, he had said that like he didn't want to be under all the makeup and shit like that. And obviously, like honestly though too, it's like you needed Toxic to be like that a little bit bigger. So having obviously someone else as a body double worked a little bit better. But I don't know. I still feel like if you're gonna do it, make him bigger.
Yeah.
Well, let's.
But he got girthier though. Remember?
Yeah. You go thick.
So let's talk. Let's transition into the effects then, because I mean, there's not a ton filmmaking wise to jump into here. Effects wise, there's definitely a lot of CG gore at times, and it didn't always work for me. Like it's one effect where the guy that wouldn't die, no matter how severe, like that looked so bad. Like I liked the practical silly effects where he's like rips an arm off and stuff. That's okay. But when like there's a lot of like head replacement with super obviously CG stuff, whether it's jaw or whether like even the jaw effect wasn't practical, and it was really obvious to me, and I've seen, like, they've done cool practical jaw stuff as far back as Demon Knight for me, you know what I mean? And even earlier. It's like, so, like, I feel like even Trauma would have done it, like, better if they had gone, like, old school practical. Like, I feel like. So, they relied a little too heavily on CG for me, and then also the Toxie, makeup design and overall design and coloration, I hated the coloration of, like, the green. Okay, fine, I get it, he's gonna be green, but I hated how the color of his brains that were poking out kept changing. Like they were like brown sometimes, white sometimes, purple sometimes, and then he had purple like veins going down the side of his face, and underneath it were like yellow veins. It just feels like someone just, whoever was in charge of painting the prosthetic design, like the bodysuit or whatever, including the head cowl piece, just was like given too much free reign to just do whatever they wanted, and it was just a hodgepodge, and it looked like a mess to me.
Well, the one thing I noticed is the makeup was not consistent throughout the film, and that was a big issue, especially with certain lightings. Like in the beginning reveal after he was transformed, honestly, the makeup looked fucking phenomenal. Personally, that dark lighting was very nice. I like the green and purple. I personally like the green and purple contrast with the pustules and everything on him. But it's like I think it was the eye. I think was my biggest issue.
Oh, that looked horrible.
The fucking eye was the stupidest fucking thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it didn't like the eyes go from like a fucking like a green to a blue, or were they always blue? Like, I don't know, but like, and that kind of goes back again too with the inconsistency of the makeup through the film, especially on the ending sequence, in the hospital. Like, I was just looking around, like kind of the face and even the lips. Like you could see such a heavy line of pink on those lips. Where it's just like you just didn't take the time to kind of touch back those. I don't know, those little things kind of bother me. But also it's the overuse of the CG blood, when trauma movies are known for the over-the-top practical effects, and there was a top of the head knock, with the mop that was just like, it could have been such a badass practical effect, and it's just completely CG. You could barely even fucking tell what was going on up there, and somehow the guy was still alive for 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah, on stage and everything.
Yeah, I was just like, what? But yeah, there was just, and again, it started off with really cool practical effects. Dude getting his arm ripped off, and obviously you see that in the trailer. But yeah, it just, that's where I think this movie was severely lackluster, was the CG gore. Keep it more practical. It would have registered a lot better. And also too, I can kind of see where you're talking about with the vein layering and whatnot. Again, the beginning sequence when on that first reveal, I think that makeup looked the best. But also too, it was with your lighting, and you had those nice soft purple glows from the pustules and shit like that. I kind of dug that. It looked cool. Those daylight shots looked garbage. The daylight shots looked garbage for me.
Fuego?
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw the design in some of the promotional pictures when this first screened 2 years ago, I was just like, ugh, this looks so ridiculous. And I just like the whole kind of gimmicky thing of making him a small person in this in comparison. I was kind of befuddled by this, but I guess I'll play devil's advocate a little bit. I dug the look of Toxic in this. I didn't think I was going to. It definitely, to echo Robert's point a little bit, was a little bit rougher to see in the daylight and stuff. But I guess I just wasn't analyzing as much the inconsistencies that you were mentioning, Cecil, about, just like the veins changing colors and things of that nature. I guess in hindsight, thinking back to, from one scene where they're like, taken hostage to another scene, early on, for instance, in like the burger place, for example. So yeah, I can see that just being laziness if that was in fact the case. But I guess for me, the fact that I warmed up to this design when initially I saw it and I hated it, I guess that's at least something for me to acknowledge.
Yeah,
So.
fair enough. Well, yeah, I mean that's as much as I have to say about it. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
No, I just want to kind of like the makeup definitely deserves its merits. I'm not saying it doesn't. There were just little things that I'm just like, oh, that could have been done better. And again, like what we were saying, it's like with like going back to like the original Trauma, is like our hero was like a 5-foot scrawny nothing, and then he grows into like a 6'3", behemoth, But that's what I personally think that what they should have done with this one. Make Toxie a big brute force.
Incredible Hulk, that shit.
Yeah. And I feel it could have been a little bit more effective, and but also too, fucking change that eye.
Sometimes I like the look of it, but then especially daylight bits, where it's out in the forest with that guy early on getting acquainted and stuff. Yeah. But like the diner scene during the daylight, like honestly, that looked fine. My biggest problem was the final like 5-10 minutes and everything of the big finale. Those daylight shots did not look very good. I don't know. That's just me. Yeah. Well, I have to mention the music because there's like kind of a metal soundtrack to and you got some sabotage sabotage, I should specify. You've got some, I think it was Ripper era Priest in there, and obviously we mentioned Overkill already, and the music from that band, dude, was just so new metal rap. Like they should be on ICP's label kind of shit. Oh, it was so bad. But it made me laugh, So that played into the Trauma vibe, as we mentioned. Just everything about the band, from their music to their look, was the most like ripped right out of like Surf Nazis or Nuke 'Em High. Yep, exactly. And well, there was a couple pop songs in there that kind of just threw me off that should not have been in there. And also they used a classic score from, it's been in countless movies where he's doing the transformation and it gets all psychedelic. Oh yeah, I knew I like. Yeah. I can't remember what film it's originally from, unfortunately. Yeah. So the familiarity notes. So I wasn't tripping. I'm like, I swear to God, I've heard this before.
They use the same song for Evil the Cat's level in Earthworm Jim.
Oh, okay. Nice.
That's deep pull.
Yep, that's a deep cut for old heads.
Nice.
All right, well, let's call it there, you guys. If any of you watching have seen the movie, let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, especially if you've watched all the way up to this point. Thank you to our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. We greatly appreciate it. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
Wolfman.
Gracias, I mean fuego.
And remember, stay scared.
Stay scared.